If I had to start investing from zero in 2026, here's exactly what I would do. 5 phases, 5 accounts, and a simple allocation strategy, and one automation system that runs on autopilot. No guessing, no overthinking, no paralysis, just clear blueprint you can execute today. This is purely for educational purposes, not financial advice, just what I would do. Here's the roadmap. Phase 1, we'll build a foundation so you're not investing on shaky ground. Phase 2, I'm going to open the 5 accounts in a waterfall order, which means one fills before the next one starts. Okay, phase 3, I'll invest in a simple portfolio of low-cost ETFs. This is where I'm going to show you the exact tickers and tell you what I would personally buy. In phase 4, I'll automate everything so we never have to think about it again. And lastly, phase 5, the 8th wonder of the world, let's let compound interest work and do its magic. That's it. Let's build it and dive in. Most people want to skip straight to investing. They open an app, they buy a random stock, and they hope it works. But you can't build wealth on a broken foundation. Think about construction when you're building a skyscraper. They don't start stacking bricks vertically. They spend months laying the groundwork, because if the foundation cracks, the entire building is going to fall. Your financial foundation works the exact same way. Before you ever invest $1, you need to have 2 things locked in. Number 1, you have to eliminate high interest debt. High interest debt compounds against us. It destroys any investment return you could ever get. Bad debt in my mind is anything over an 8 or a 9%, and this has to be prioritized, because I promise you, you cannot outinvest a 27% credit card interest rate. It's mathematically impossible. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to list out every single debt that we have. We're going to write it down, the balance that debt has, and the interest rate associated to that debt. Then we're going to attack them using what's called the avalanche method. What you do is you attack the highest interest rate first, then throw every extra dollar at that debt until it's completely gone. This isn't fun, but it's 100% necessary, because debt is weight. Number 2, you're going to build your runway. Once you're out of high interest debt, we need a runway, not a $1,000 emergency fund, a 6-month runway. This goes into a high yield savings account where you're going to earn at least a 3% interest rate. This money needs to cover between 2 and 6 months of living expenses. This is your rent, your food, your utilities, your insurance, everything that is not an investment. This is your protection, because life happens, okay? Cars break down, medical bills show up, jobs disappear. If we don't have a runway, we are forced to make desperate decisions. Now that's my foundation, okay? Debt is gone, runway's built, ground is stable, and now we can begin to build vertically. Phase 2, now this is where most people are going to get stuck. They don't know where to put their money, so they put it nowhere, or they scatter across 10 different accounts with no system. I'm going to give you the 5 accounts in waterfall order. Now, what does this mean? If you think about a waterfall, okay, the water is going to flow into a bucket until it completely fills up and overflows, and then it goes into the next bucket. Do not move on to the next account until the one above it is completely full. This is the sequence. This is a system. Number 1 is your high yield savings account. We just talked about this, okay? This is your foundation. This is your runway. Once this is up and going, you move on to account number 2. Account number 2 are your retirement accounts. Now, this is where most of your money is going to go early on, and it's split into 2 parts. Part 1 is your 401k if and only if your employer has a match. Contribute up to that match immediately. If they match 5%, contribute 5%, but that's it. Why? Because the match is 100% return. That's free money, but I'm not going to max out my 401k here. Not yet, because the average 401k in America earns somewhere between 4 and 7%. The stock market has averaged 10% over the last years. I believe we can do better than 4 to 7%, and that leads me to part number 2, your Roth IRA. This is where real magic happens. Roth IRA lets you invest up to $7,500 every single year, and that money grows completely tax-free. When you retire, you can withdraw it completely tax-free, not taxes on the growth, none. And unlike a 401k, you actually control it. You choose the platform, you choose the investments. Now, I would personally open mine with Vanguard, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Merrill. Okay, I want one of the established brands, clean interface, low fees, and easy to use. Now, once I'm into this account, I'm going to invest in VOO, VTI, QQQM, and SCHD. Now, we'll break those down in phase 3, but the goal here is to contribute 5 to 7% of your take-home pay into your Roth IRA every single month. Now, bonus points if you do a self-directed IRA. These let you invest your IRA money into real estate, private deals, even crypto inside your retirement account, but it's pretty advanced for now. Just focus on a Roth IRA, get money in there. Once your Roth IRA is maxed out for the year, you can move on to account number 3, and that is a cryptocurrency account. I know some of you are rolling your eyes. Hear me out on this. I'm just going to ask you to allocate 1 to 2% of your income into crypto, okay? Specifically Bitcoin, not meme coins, Bitcoin. Here's why. Every generation has its wealth building opportunity. In the 1900s, it was land. In the 1920s, it was the stock market. In the 50s and 60s, it was improved real estate. In the 90s and 2000s, it was tech and the internet. I believe crypto is one of the wealth building opportunities for our generation. Bitcoin has a fixed supply. It can only ever have 21 million coins. That's it. No one can ever create more than that. Michael Saylor, a billionaire who owns billions of dollars in Bitcoin, thinks it could get $13 million per coin. Now, that would be generational wealth if it actually happened. Here's the risk to reward. If you put just 1 to 2% of your income and it goes to zero, it's not going to ruin your retirement. If it does go to $13 million a coin, it could completely change your life. That is asymmetric risk. Minimum downside, but maximum upside. So I'm putting 1 to 2% into Bitcoin and I'm holding it for decades. Once we've allocated our crypto percentage, we're going to move on to account number 4. Account number 4 is the brokerage account. Now this is the overflow account. Everything else is going to go into your brokerage account. Now this is a taxable brokerage account. There's no contribution limits, there's no withdrawal penalties, there's complete flexibility, and you're able to invest in the same ETFs as your Roth IRA. You're going to target VTI, VOO, QQQM, and SCHD. Maybe there's some growth ETFs. I'll touch on this more in phase 3, but this account serves 2 purposes. 1, it's your long-term wealth account. You're building a portfolio that's going to compound for decades. But 2, it's your liquidity account. This is the money that you can tap into later to invest into real estate, startups, or other opportunities. You're not locking it in for 40 years like you are a retirement account because you have complete access inside your brokerage account. And a bonus account, account number 5, HSA. If you have a high deductible health plan, open up an HSA immediately. Okay, this is the only account with the triple tax advantage, meaning money goes in tax-free, money grows tax-free, and it comes out tax-free for medical expenses. Every single dime tax-free. It's basically a second Roth IRA. If you don't end up using it for medical expenses, you can accumulate funds for non-medical expenses, penalty-free after age 65. Now here's the hack. You don't have to use this immediately for medical expenses. You can actually invest this in the stock market like every other account. It doesn't have to sit in cash. So you could invest your HSA funds for 20, 30, 40 years, let it accumulate to hundreds of $1,000s. That entire 30 years, you could be having medical expenses that you're paying for. But the cool hack is at the end of 30 years, you could take every medical expense you ever had, turn in all the receipts, and withdraw all that money completely tax-free. So here's the waterfall. High yield savings account, 2 to 6 months. 401k up to the match, 3 to 5%. Roth IRA, 5 to 7%. Crypto, 1 to 2%. Everything else into your brokerage unless you're eligible for an HSA, and then you have one of those. One fills up and then goes to the next and the next. It's simple, it's clear, it's systematic. Phase 3, what are you going to invest in? We've hit on this a little bit. This is the question everyone asks. What do I actually buy? Now I'm going to make this as simple as possible. I am buying low-cost index fund ETFs. No need to dive into stock picking, no need to day trade, no point in even trying to time the market. Let's say I'm starting with $200 every single month. Here's exactly how I'd split it up. I'd put $80 into VOO. This is the S&P 500. It's Vanguard's S&P 500 lookalike. Okay, this is your Apple, Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, Amazon, all in one fund, and this is going to give you your foundation. Now I'd take $60 and put it into QQQM. This is the NASDAQ 100. This focuses on tech and high growth companies. Yes, it's more volatile, but over the long run, it has higher upside. This is your growth engine, okay? Then I'd take another $60 and put it into SCHD. This is your dividend ETF. This is going to focus on really stable blue chip companies that pay cash every quarter for you just holding them. This gives me stability and it teaches me to love market downturns because when the prices drop, my dividends buy more and more shares because that cash flow continues. That's it, okay? 80, 60, 60, broad market, growth, and dividends. Now let's talk about allocation by age. As I earn more and invest more, I need to adjust my allocation. If I'm under 35, I can be aggressive, okay? 60% VTI or VOO, 30% QQQM, 10% SCHD. If I'm 30 to 50, I'm going to take more moderate approach. I might do 50% VOO, 25% QQQM, and 15% SCHD, and maybe 10% in an international fund like VXUS. If I'm over 50, I'm probably going to leave even more conservative, maybe 40% VOO, 20% VTI, 30% SCHD. I'm going to start doing bonds and do a bond ETF, probably 10%. The younger you are, the more aggressive you can be. Here is where most people fail at investing. They sit and watch the markets and then they wait for the perfect time and they try to time the bottom of the market and they convince themselves that they'll invest when the market drops. And then they never actually do it. So because of this, I am not timing the market. I am using a strategy called dollar cost averaging, DCA for short. Dollar cost averaging means you invest a fixed amount of money at regular intervals. goes. No matter what the market is doing, every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever your schedule is, market's up, you buy, market down, you buy, market sideways, you buy. You are not trying to predict anything. You're just constantly putting your money to work. Over time, buying high and buying low, you're going to average out your cost per share and you remove all emotion from the equation. Here's the reality about trying to time the market. Bank of America did a study. They looked at investing from the 1930s until today. They found that if you invested $10,000 and just held it, you'd have about $20,000 in returns. But if you missed just 10 of the best days in the market over that same period, your returns would drop by 50%. 50% just with 10 days. And here's the kicker. Those best days usually happen right after the worst days in the markets. In 2020, when the market crashed in March, the best week's gain happened just 2 weeks later. If you panic and sold during some of the worst times, you would have missed it. But if you were dollar cost averaging, if you bought right through the crash and caught the recovery, time in the market is going to beat timing the market every single time. DCA isn't just about returns, it's about psychology. It removes paralysis of is now a good time, because the answer is always yes. It's always the right time to invest. It's automatic and it's consistent, and over decades that consistency compounds into serious wealth. Here's how to set up your automation step by step. Step 1, you link your bank account. Every brokerage needs a funding source. Link your checking account to your Roth IRA or your brokerage account. This takes a total of 5 minutes. Sometimes they'll verify with micro deposits or it's instant, but just set up your bank account. Step 2, you're going to set up reoccurring transfers. Most platforms have a feature called automatic transfers or reoccurring deposits. You're going to go into your account settings and find that option and set up your frequency, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Little pro tip, I match it to my paycheck schedule so that when my paycheck hits the next day, it pulls out the money. Then you're going to set up your dollar amount. This is how much money you want to automatically move from your bank account to your investment account every single time. For example, every 1st and 15th of the month, I want to transfer $200 from my checking to my Roth IRA. Done. Step 3, you're going to set up an auto invest. Now that the money is flowing into your account, you need to tell it what to buy. Most platforms call this automatic investing or reoccurring investments. Whatever your allocation is, then you'll tell it how much to invest in each fund every time money hits your account. Every major brokerage has this feature. You just have to choose which one and go turn it on. And lastly, here's step 4, enable dividend reinvestments. One more thing, okay? Make sure you enable DRIP. What this stands for is Dividend Reinvestment Plan. This automatically takes all the dividends that you earn and uses them to buy more shares. This is going to make the compounding happen even faster. Now, once your automation is set up, here's what you're going to do. Absolutely nothing. I'm not checking my portfolio every day. I'm not refreshing my apps. I'm not watching CNBC trying to figure out where that money's going. I review my investments probably every 3 months, and that's it. I check to see if my allocation is still on track. I see if my income has grown or if I need to increase my contributions, but otherwise, I'm just leaving it alone, because the more you touch your investments, the worse they're going to do. Now let's talk about the long game. It is really boring. For the first 5 years, you're putting money in every single month and you're going to feel like that balance is barely moving. But then something's going to happen. Compound interest is going to start kicking in. Your investments start earning more than you're contributing, and your net worth is going to grow faster than your salary. That's when everything is going to begin to change. General rule of thumb is every 7 years, your money's going to double. At some point, the market will crash. It always does. In 2020, it dropped 35%. In 2022, it dropped over 20%. People panicked, they sold, and they locked in losses. Do not do that. Market crashes are discounts, okay? They're not disasters. So the next time market crash happens, and it will, don't panic, keep buying, keep DCAing, and I promise you'll thank yourself later for this. If you guys like this guide, please hit the like and subscribe button, click the little bell icon so you get notified on the next time I release a video, and as always, thanks for watching.